Hello, teacher friends. Today I am going to tell you about my favorite educational theorist, Robert M. Gagné, the father of instructional design. Let's go. First, here is our theorist. Oop, there is our theorist. There are very few pictures of him. The compendium of all of his life's work has a photo on the cover, so I went with that. He started his career after being drafted into the Army Air Corps. He was trying to teach Army cadets, these fresh 18-year-olds, all they needed to know to fly airplanes and do all sorts of crazy things during World War II. And he realized very quickly that they did not all learn the same way, and that some of them struggled to learn different things in different ways. So he ended up forming 4 propositions. A, learning goals can be categorized as to learning outcome or knowledge type. So you have different types of learning. B, learning outcomes can be represented in a predictable prerequisite relationship, learning hierarchies. C, acquisition of different outcome categories requires different internal processes, the internal conditions of learning. D, acquisition of different outcome categories requires identifiably different instructional processes, the events of instruction, and the external conditions of learning. So let's go back to A. We have our types of learning or our learning outcomes. He flip-flops between the different terminology for the same things. Basically, it just means that every way we learn, everything we're trying to get our students to do, needs to be taught differently. Our intellectual skills, the discrimination, telling the difference between things, concepts, the broad ideas and rules of society or math have to be taught differently than basic problem solving, verbal information, cognitive strategies, motor skills, and our attitudes, the beliefs that we have about what we're learning. Once we know that, our learning hierarchies tell us what our students need to know in what sequence. This is the basis for today's prerequisites that we have for courses and course sequencing. We begin as children or as a new learner with stimulus recognition. Then we follow that up with response generation. So they recognized a word. Can they use that word in a sentence? Procedure following. Can they give us the syntax of the sentence? Use of terminology. Do they know what a noun or a verb nerve is? Concept formation. Can they make an argument? Rule application. Can they give us a 3-paragraph essay? Problem solving, the mastery. Can they give us their opinion in an essay form? Then we have the internal conditions of learning. Gagné said that these conditions must be met at each and every step of the learning hierarchy. The student must have substantive, relevant prior knowledge from each level. They have to be able to encode that knowledge into long-term memory. And then they have to have the ability to retrieve that knowledge and transfer it or use it in new situations. That leads to Gagné's massive breakthrough in educational research. The 9 events of instruction. They are the backbone of modern lesson planning. We have all seen these 9 events in our lesson plans. First, you have to gain the student's attention. You need to have a hook, an icebreaker, something that pulls them in, sucks them into class. Then you need to inform the learners of the objective. Why are they here? What are we going to talk about today or this week or in this unit? It helps focus learners so they know what they're going to learn. Then you need to stimulate recall of prior learning. Have a review session. Have a quick popcorn of who can tell me X, Y, or Z. Something that brings that information that they already have stored back to the forefront of their minds. Then we want to present the stimulus. We want to give the lecture or show them the task. We want to then provide learning guidance. This is your scaffolding, your guided practice, things like that. Then we want to elicit performance. Can we get the student to do what we just showed them? Then we want to provide feedback. This, Gagné said, is the most important step because the student has no way of knowing if they are doing what we taught them correctly unless we tell them, hey, you're doing great, or here's XYZ that you need to work on. Finally, after you have given feedback, you can assess performance. You need to take that knowledge that they have and have them prove that they are able to master it. And then, finally, we get to enhance retention and transfer. Can they take those same skills that they just learned and can they remember them? And then can they use them, say, in a different unit? Or can they then show a peer later on how to do the same thing that they learned? That is the main focus of Gagné's massive body of work. His research has changed our understanding of how all subjects and skills are taught, and he gave us specific steps to take in the classroom to ensure educational achievement. Gagné's learning hierarchies and the concept of prerequisite knowledge equip us teachers to guide students to success by building on foundational knowledge. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I look forward to watching everyone else's videos. Bye!